are off. I'm flying through the hallway like a disco moth. Hitching to the couch, then I loop through the fan. My tiny whoop's grooving like a funky jam. Dip through the doorway, spin by the cat, bounce off the toaster, yeah, I meant to do that. Neighbors knocking, saying, what's that sound? It's my brush motor soul train getting down. Flying through the curtain, dancing on breeze, freestyle funk in my living room with ease. Tiny whoop magic, bumping every wall. I'm the James Brown of flight, can't stop it all. I got LED strobes and a shag rug trail. I'm looping through the lava lamp, leaving a tail. My whoop's got rhythm, my stick's got soul. I'm the pilot of the party, on a roll. TV remote's a gate, the lamps a dive. I'm flying like it's 75. No GPS, no rules, no shame. Just a funky little quad in a soul train frame. Below, we fly that flow. Below, grab that gap. No time to nap. No time to nap. Hit that roll. Funk and control. Funk and control. Bounce that wall. Bounce that all. We fly it all. Funk it all. We fly it all. Tiny whoop love, funky and free. We fly indoors, we fly with glee. Whoop it, loop it, groove it, move it, bounce it, flip it, funk it, rip it, fly that soul, don't lose control. Tiny whoop love gonna make you whole. I thread the needle through the vinyl stacks, bounce off the mirror ball, never looking back. My quad's got soul, it's got style, it's got sass. It dips through the incense like a blast from the past. I'm flying figure eights through the lava lamp glow, dodging house plants like a funky pro. My whoop's got rhythm, my stick's got heat. I'm the pilot of the party with the grooviest beat. I loop through the hallway, I dive by the broom. I'm the disco ghost in your living room. I hit that split that's over grandma's chair. She just claps and says, boy, you got flair. I'm flying freestyle with a velvet touch. My quad so smooth it don't need a clutch. From the shag rug to the ceiling fan, I'm the funky little fly with a master plan. The curtains dancing on the breeze, freestyle funk in my living room with ease. Tiny whoop magic bumping every wall. I'm the James Brown of flight, can't stop at all. Can't stop at all. Can't stop at all.
What's up, you filthy animals? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Fresh Build Friday. Oh, hold on. YouTube is going to memory leak all over the place if I don't close it. There we go. There we go. All right, perfect. You were just watching, the first bit was, the first 4 or so minutes, was the Maxx Frames M2 build that I did a chunk of the work on during the live stream Wednesday? Today's Friday. And then I finished up at like 3 a.m. last night. Was it last night? I don't know. Last night or the night before. And boy, oh boy, does it shred. These motors, these HGLRC 1202.5 11,000 kV motors are something else. They are a lot paired with these GemFan 2023s, the old GemFan 2023s with the T-mount holes. And it might actually be a little bit too much, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight once I get caught up on chat and Q&A and all that good stuff. Absolutely incredibly fun, but this is an itty-bitty lightweight 2-inch build, and there's a point where with a smaller build you can put so much power into it that you start flying it in the way that you would fly a bigger build, like a 3-inch setup or even like a 5-inch setup. In my opinion, the smaller builds are for flying smaller, flying in smaller places. And so if you put too much power into them, they're going to be hard to fly in those small places. I'm only a couple of batteries into this. So as I fly it more and more, I'll see if I can kind of scale things down. But I've got 3 batteries. I flew 3 batteries on this and 1 on the Baby Turtle 2.5. That was the last little bit of flight footage you saw. You can tell because the camera is recessed in here a little bit too far, so you get this violet Saint Smart TPU in the corners. And so yeah, we're gonna also kind of compare 2-inch versus 2.5-inch, both very lightweight. Let me actually, I haven't weighed the Maxx Frames M2 yet. Massive shout out to Max. I bought the frame from him, and then he very kindly sent me the motors and the AIO. This AIO seems to be really good. Where's the box for it? This is the JHE MCU. Here it is. JHE MCU G474 ELVTX. Yeah, seems to be good. It's got black box on board. I'm assuming it's 12 amp FETs, right? Yep, 12 amp FETs, 1 to 2S. It has the new Betaflight 2025.12.4, I think it is. And yeah, there was no drama in setting it up whatsoever. It's got 2 UFL ports, 1 for the VTX, 1 for ELRS. It comes with a little Mini Mortal T ELRS antenna, which is pretty slick. Yeah, no complaints whatsoever about this AIO. This looks like a good one. I guess if I had to really nitpick, it's got the old school micro USB. It's kind of nice when they have USB-C on here, but boy, is that nitpicking. The Maxx Frames M2 is 50.3 grams dry compared to the Baby Turtle 2.5. I'm sorry, Pro Turtle 2.5, which, wow, that's wild. 51.5. This guy is on 1103s right now, whereas the Max build is on the 1202.5s. And so I'm assuming that's where, these motors are bigger. They are certainly more powerful. The difference in power between these two is absurd. Like, this is a rocket ship. This setup, these 1103s are old. These are old, I'm talking 8-9-year-old motors, made by RCX, a company who they were the in-house brand of the long gone overseas FPV reseller MyRCMart. And they made a couple really good motors, and then when MyRCMart went away, they went away. And so, yeah, even though this weighs the same, but it has way bigger, more efficient, more powerful props, the difference in motors is kind of absurd. 7,800 kV on this, 11,000 kV on this. This is nutty. So we'll talk more about it in a little bit. But let's get everything else happening here in the chat. Sporny was first. Tony Morgan, Doc Holliday, Kevin Sumner, Uriel, Penguin, Dagul, Uriel again, Fizz, Sear FPV, Frank, Dr. Nicholas, Uriel, Jeremy's Flies FPV, Dagul again, CCAD Ryan, Sleepy CBR, Nyafu, CXB, Just on Task, Mike Owen, Wilbur, CCAD again, Random Pac-Man, Replicator FPV. What's up, friends? Thanks for coming. CiottiFPV.com is the website where you can go to support me. If I can remember, or if you guys remind me by typing at CiottiFPV at around 8 o'clock rather, We'll do a giveaway. I've got another couple more of these lanyards, this goggle strap, Micro King Home of the Whooper sticker, and BetaFPV Lava V2 batteries, 1 580 and 2 680s. So if I remember, or if you guys remind me, we'll do a little giveaway like we do on the first Monday of every month. It's $5 for a ticket to get in. That covers the shipping. And, you know, if just one person enters, then you got yourself a bunch of stuff for $5. If a couple people enter, then, you know, you got a little bit less of a chance. But you can't win if you don't play, said gambling addicts all around the world. What else is happening here? There was something else. Oh God, yeah. I still have this a replacement case for the Caddx Baby Ratel 2. So if you have a Caddx Baby Ratel 2, for the love of God, let me send this to you. Buy something off my Etsy store, or whatever, to cover the shipping, and I'll throw it in. And then if your Baby Ratel 2 case breaks, you'll have an extra one. Also, this is a Caddx Ant Light with a ruined lens. The body is totally fine. I actually custom soldered on the little controller plug and the JST 1.25 that works with the X12. The body of the camera is totally fine. It's just the lens is ruined. If you have an extra one of these lenses, I would love to buy it off you. If not, somebody pay for shipping and I'll send this to you, and then you can have an extra body in case you destroy your Caddx Ant Light body and still have a working lens. Cool. Let's, you know, get stuff into the hands of folks that can use it. That's been a big part of what I've been doing here over the last like 4 years. In the chat, again, if you want to talk directly to me, type at CiottiFPV. Uriel says, delivery has spring break. I give him the week. Yeah, good Lord. They're like the shipping around the world is absolutely outrageous. It's such a mess. And so there's so much stuff that's like held up in shipping for me right now. It's wild. Dagul says the intro / outro music is always a vibe. I know, right? Shout out to FizzPV. He is an effing genius. Wilbur FPV says some of the local guys fly Kayoumini. Any advantages versus the Maxx? Great question, Wilbur. I actually did an entire live stream comparing the Baby Turtle 2-inch rigs to the Pro Turtle 2.5s to the Bando Turtle 2.5 to the Kayoumini. The long and short of it is that the Kayoumini is, well, it's a 2.5-inch prop frame, right? And it's heavier. And it being heavier is probably a better match for the 2.5-inch prop size. My theory on these open prop builds has been that with what they weigh, right? These are all like well under 100 grams, all up. Are they? Let me double check that. I've been weighing them all dry, and I don't know what these 300 mAh Tiny Whoop BT 3.0 batteries weigh. So like the Pro Turtle 2.5, yeah, okay, yeah, they're way under. What about with a 450? Yeah, with a 450, they're even. So these are all well under 100 grams. A 2.5-inch propeller is pretty big for that amount of weight. To put it in perspective, when my first couple of years in FPV, we're going a literal decade ago. First couple of years, all I flew were micros and whoops. 3-inch rigs, 2.5-inch rigs, 1.2, 1.6. And a lot of like toothpick-ish stuff. I wish, did it not? I had a screen on top of it. I didn't see it. And I got really used to that. Eventually, like back then, micros didn't have any power. And so eventually I started to kind of get good at flying, and I wanted to continue to get better at flying. And the only answer back then was going to a 5-inch build, which I did. Spent a couple of years flying 5-inch rigs, getting used to it, continuing to get better as a pilot. And then when I went back, whenever I would go back and fly micros, they would just be so floaty and they would have so little momentum that like I couldn't do a lot of the stuff that I would do on 5-inch builds, right? Like a lot of these off throttle momentum kind of movements. And so I just didn't really fly micros for a whole bunch of years there. And then when I started to book gigs and fly a lot of Cinewhoops and whatnot, I got back into micros because I needed to figure out what the right motor size was, what the good props were and whatnot. And it started to kind of dawn on me that like the ratio of basically your propeller size is the size of your parachute. The propellers are always spinning, and they're always sending a little column of air down the bottom. So if you think of this as a 3-dimensional parachute, you've got this dimension, which is very easy to imagine, right? Because we're looking at it. You have to also imagine, though, that the propellers are spinning, right? Each blade is a circle. It's taking up that space. But it's also in this dimension, and it's not quite this aerodynamic, right? All 4 of these props are disrupting the air, like maybe down this far, let's say, at idle. And so we've actually got like almost a cube of thing that's disrupting the air as it goes through the air off throttle, right? Upside down, sideways, whatever. And so as the size of the propellers goes up and down, that parachute changes sizes. And so with a 5-inch build, we've got 600 plus grams, and it's, you know, roughly this big. It being 600 grams at idle, it disrupts a bigger column of air down the bottom. But again, think of it roughly as like a cube that has to blast through the air. And so after tons and tons and tons of testing, what I realized is that for a 3-inch build to fly as similar as possible to a 5-inch build, it needed to be 250 to like 280 or so grams. But you also needed to fly it in smaller spaces. If you tried to make a 3-inch rig fly in the same location, like a big location, let's say, like a football field, right? You would end up having to make it really heavy and put a lot of power in it. And now you've got a 3-inch build that's like 350 grams. And the problem with that is when you chop the throttle, if it's really heavy and the size of the parachute is kind of small, it falls out of the air like in an unnatural way. 5-inch builds have a certain sort of like pace and a certain speed that they float at. And my goal was to try to match that with a 3-inch build so that hopefully I could fly a 3-inch build without having to make a massive adjustment as a pilot every single time I went back and forth between 3 and 5 and 3 and 5, because if you want to get better as a pilot, one of the best things you can do is fly the exact same thing over and over and over and over and over again. If you fly 5 batteries on a 600 gram 5-inch rig, and then you fly 5 batteries on like a 200 gram 3-inch rig, there is such a massive adjustment between those two that you're going to build your muscle memory here for one, and then you're going to build a separate set of muscle memory over here for the other. And I would notice that like I would fly worse. I really noticed it with the sim, to be honest. This was back when I was doing 30 minutes in the simulator every single night, no excuses, like no matter what. And I would notice that like I would get really good in the sim, and then I would go to fly for real, and I would fly like shit for a bunch of batteries, and then like the last couple batteries I would be adjusted, and I would start to fly good, and then I'd go home and I would suck in the sim, and then I would get used to the sim, and I would start flying good, and then I'd go back at right. And so I try to eliminate that like with everything. Like the ethos behind every single build that I do is to get it as close to what I've sort of deemed normal, right? Like we all have our normal. If you fly an 800-gram 5-inch rig, your normal is going to be very different than mine. My normal is like a 6 to 650-gram 5-inch rig, right? And so we all have to go through this sort of thing. I mean, we don't have to, but if you want to get good and you know, be able to fly any different sized rig without a massive adjustment period every single time you switch, this is what, you know, this is sort of the process that you want to go through. And so I kind of have in my head what everything should sort of fly. I have this idea of like normal. And so so far, this analog build, and I've actually got a full video coming out tomorrow. I'm going to put it up after the live stream, schedule it to come up tomorrow. I flew 4 or 5 batteries on this yesterday with different motors, different props, and I talked through it into the microphone in my HD0 goggles. And I dropped that all into a Premiere timeline last night. And there's a little funny at the end. And so that'll come up tomorrow just as like a regular edit here on the channel. And you'll get to see sort of the difference there. And so, yeah, this analog build, which is very lightweight with these great big 2.5-inch propellers, to me is too floaty and it's too much propeller for the weight. If I'm going to have a 2.5-inch prop build, I want it to be like 150 grams all up weight. And so the Kayoumini is interesting because it is a heavier frame than this guy. Hopefully it's a really strong frame, and then hopefully we can load it down with HD system, big old camera up front. Uriel is very kindly sent me a Flywoo 04 Lite with the Flywoo wide angle camera. And so we're going to have a kind of heavy camera, the 04 Lite, AIO, some bigger motors. I'm so grateful that Maxx sent these 1202.5 HGLRC 11,000 kV motors, because this has opened my eyes to what, you know, I've been testing 1002s, 1102s, 1003s, 1103s, and now 1202.5s, and I'm starting to really get a feel for which ones make power, where they make power, do they get hot, that kind of stuff. And this was great, a great little bit of learning today. And so, yeah, for the Kayoumini, being a 2.5-inch prop frame, I think the deal is going to be that we want to weigh that thing down. For me, I want to weigh that thing down and put some weight into it. If you don't fly 5-inch rigs, then your normal is probably not going to be something that has as much mass as what I want to be able to hurl it up over, you know, a tree that's 30 feet wide, right? Zero throttle, inverted, you know, barely looking at it in that way that's like super cool that we do with, you know, the bigger stuff. That's what I personally want. I want these things to fly like that. And at the weight that these things are at right now, sub 100, the 2-inch builds are doing the best job with that because they're so much smaller, right? It's so much of a smaller parachute. And so, yeah, for the Kayoumini, I'm really excited to build it out because I want to see if I can get the thing to be heavy enough to give me the same flight experience that I've been getting with these 2-inch rigs, the 2-inch HD baby turtle here, which I'm swapping motors on, and now the Maxx M2, because these are just, it just feels right when I fly these. Like, it just, I don't have to adjust. I can just start flying comfortably. And like within the first battery, I'm hammering around and I'm starting to crash it and I'm starting to bang into shit. But like the stuff that I'm doing feels natural and is like gnarly. And so, yeah, that's kind of what's been going on here. I'm also really excited to get the Bando Turtle built. The Bando Turtle 2.5-inch frame is 7 or 8 grams lighter, I think, than the Kayoumini, but the top plate is longer. Apparently on the Kayoumini, it's a little bit of a challenge to go from a 450 mAh2S to a 550 mAh2S. I'll know when I get that build done, but one of the cool things about the Bando Turtle is that the top plate's longer. So apparently you can very easily run a 550 mAh battery. And that is, I think, where I want to be going with that. The thing that I don't know, though, that one of the things that might happen is that once we do all that, does it become too powerful, right? And that's what I was so excited when I started flying this. I was like, oh my God, it's got a ton of power. And then I start getting used to it, and I'm like, ooh, this is perfect. Like, this is exactly what I needed. I needed to have one of these things be kind of because so far with 1102s, 1003s, and 1103s, these have been like really good. Like, my guess is 7-to-1, 8-to-1 thrust to weight ratio, and that feels really good. Like, every single one of these that I built and I've gone out front and flown, they've been really nice for like out in front of the house where you got like a bunch of trees, you got like a half a block that you're going to go up and down each direction, and that's it. It's not a football field. It's, you know, you're ducking into your garden. It's a smaller kind of spot. And so, yeah, this has been a blast to figure this out, figure out what's the right prop size. I mean, there's not a right prop size. It's different for every single one of us. But for me, there is a right prop size, and all up weight and all that jazz. So yeah, it's pretty slick. I'm having a blast checking these out. We're gonna hit this hard for pretty much the rest of the month here, and then March is going to be all about updating my live broadcast setup. So there's going to be a whole bunch of, well, not a whole bunch of, there's going to be 2 AOS Cine builds, an AOS Cine 3.5 and an AOS Cine 3.0. We're going to get a Cosmos streamer up and going. So that's going to kind of be March. So yeah, I'm trying to finish strong here in February and really dive into these guys and see what we can do. The 04 Lite 2-inch and 2.5-inch setups here, along with the Tiny Whoops, are coming with me to the live broadcast gigs to kind of just screw around with. So yeah, this is going to be a fun year for that stuff. And hopefully, you know, all the work that's being done in the Olympics with FPV will make a lot of these organizing bodies and venues realize that like FPV is totally safe and they can allow it at their events and they can get some phenomenal coverage, and that'll open the doors for those of us that are kind of set up to do it, which will be great because boy, it's been a struggle. Random Pac-Man says, have you tried the BetaFPV 1.8-inch 45mm props they made for the Aquila16? Aquila16 props. I'm going to assume that those are just GemFan props. BetaFPV works with GemFan, and a lot of their rigs have just GemFan props in a different color, basically. Let's see here. Really? Maybe not. That actually looks like an HQ prop. Oh, wait a second. I have a set of these. 1.8 you said, right? I think I have a set of those. Ah, no. I have the Defender 16 1809s. Aquila16. Wait, wouldn't an Aquila16 have a 1.6-inch prop? I think I do have those Aquila16 props. Let's see. I think they have a weird hub on them. Now that I see the picture of them. Man, I'm pretty sure that I have them floating around. They're just not here in this bag of propellers that I actually use. I have like a stash of props that are either out of balance or I'm just like, they just don't fly all that well. And it's kind of buried under there. Hold on. Does it tell us anything else? Does it tell us what size the propellers are? Motors, propellers, BetaFPV 45mm 3-blade props. So there we go. So let's see what these are. There they are. 45mm 3-blade props, 1.5mm shaft. Tell me what you are. Well, okay, so these are an HQ prop. I can tell by the hub. And this is the same hub as all of the HQ ultralight props, and this hub is the problem with these propellers. They perform incredible because they're very lightweight, and the hub is very lightweight, but the hub is also unfortunately kind of fragile. And so when you crash, it breaks at the hub, and the propeller just disappears. I mean, I guess there's a chance that on this specific propeller they made that hub stronger, but I doubt it. I'm about to do an order at Pyrodrone. If they sell these props, no. If they sell these props, I will snag a set. Let's try this. Micro propellers. Let's see. Size. What do we got? What is it? 35? Why is there no 35 option? Damn you. Doesn't look like Pyrodrone sells these props. Let me just real quick take a scroll. Let me try this. Let me just search for a 35mm. Hey, okay. So there's the gem fan. These are unfortunately out of balance. Wait a second, not 35, 40, 45? Hold on. Was it 35 or 45? 45. Sorry. Okay. Oops, not 55, 45. So here are the gem fan 45s. Unfortunately, they are out of balance. They are super durable, but yeah. So here's the regular HQ 45s, which again perform great, but they're just too fragile. Yeah, they don't have those Aquila16 props. I am pretty sure though that I have run those and they are no more durable, and it just doesn't make sense that they would be more durable. Oh, I should have read the rest of your chat comment, huh? They've been much more durable than the gem fan props my Meteor 75 Pro came with. Oh, much more durable than the gem fan props. The gem fan props are actually, well, what I remember the gem fan props, the blades would bend pretty easily. Are you having any problems with them blowing up at the hub? Where can I get these Aquila props? Man, I refuse to order anything from Amazon at this point. But BetaFPV is on Chinese New Year. Oh, you rat bastards, you. Ooh! Nope, that ain't it. It looks like it's either BetaFPV or... Alright, I'm going to suck it up, and I think I'm going to order a set from Amazon. The reason why is that I am right about to pull this thing apart. This is my last ditch effort at making a 1.8-inch prop setup work. Although, you know what? Those are tri-blades, and I'm looking for bi-blades. I don't like tri-blades on ducted setups. The guards slow these things down enough as it is, and I really prefer, if I'm going to fly these outside, I want it to be on bi-blades. Those are tri-blades, and they're going to be kind of too grippy. So, perfect. I don't have to support Amazon. But if you're dead set on flying a 1.8-inch prop build, it sounds like those Aquila16 props are more, well, they're more durable than the Gem fans. We don't know if they're more durable than the HQ ultralights. It seems a little bit weird that they would be more durable than the HQ ultralights, because I can tell that those are being made by HQ. But you never know. Crazier things have happened. So if you're all in on a 1.8-inch build, maybe these Aquila16 props are your way to go. For me, I would move this down to and the plan was, until earlier today actually, to move this down to a 1.6-inch propeller frame so that I can run the Gemfan 1610 bi-blades. But then I changed my mind. So this is the build that's got the X14 in it. And I realized that I still haven't tried a lightweight analog 2-inch setup. And so I realized, perfect, this is going to get torn apart and put into a Mobula 8 frame, and I can finally try a super lightweight analog Whoop 2-inch. So yeah, also I realized that I have like 3 extra of these frames. And so that's too much. I like to have 2 extra of the frames that I really run, but 3 is a bit much. So I'll destroy this frame on an analog setup. Yeah, 1.8, all of the, right? So on this 2-inch frame, I'll be able to run the Gemfan 2015 propellers, the blue ones here, right? Again, when you're flying these Whoops outside, you don't really need a tri-blade. You don't need all that grip. When you're outside, you want to be able to have a little bit of looseness for it to, slide sideways, slide backwards, do off-throttle throws and whatnot. And at the moment, there are no good, durable 1.8-inch bi-blades. So there you go. Thank you for that feedback, Random Pac-Man. That's cool. At some point, I'll probably snag a set of those. Next time I do a BetaFPV order, I'll snag a set of those. But yeah, for the time being, just for the sake of having them, because I like to have, although I have to know. I have to know if I have a set of those. I swear to God, I remember seeing Aquila16 on a prop bag at some point. I don't know why I wouldn't have put them into that other bag, but here's the spot where they would be. 1.8. I guess I don't. What am I thinking about? What the hell propellers am I thinking about? Yeah, no. Okay, so I don't. That's good feedback. Thank you, dude. Okay, we're back. Woo! I was struggling to... I had a turtle head situation I had to deal with. Oh, boy. Where are we at here? Good Lord, YouTube, how far down did you scroll me in the chat for no reason? CiottiFPV says, all of my 2.5-inch builds were over 200 grams, 3S to 4S, but effing fast. Yeah, 200 grams is where I would stop. I think that would be a good number. This style of builds and frame, like, this is just so lightweight, which is great because it keeps the noise level down. You can, fly them around people and cars and shit, and it's like no big deal. up at 200 grams, like you gotta start thinking about shit at that point. You know, that's like enough to fuck somebody up pretty good, or to break a window or leave a hell of a mark in the side of a car. So one of the really cool things about these builds is just that, like, that safety level and that ability to be like completely reckless with them, to be honest. And so I've been kind of enjoying that. The build that the rig that I did, the power loop and Matty flip, heard all around the FPV world 8 years ago, was actually a 200-ish gram 2.5-inch setup on 4S. And so yeah, those are fun. Volusia's in the house. What's up, dude? Mike says, shit, I didn't realize you were going live early in the day. Yeah, Fridays I try to mix it up. Well, I mean, basically Fridays I do 7 to 9, so that I can have some family time, essentially, Friday night, and have like an actual Friday night. The 10 to midnight thing is a Monday and Wednesday night kind of deal. There was a while that I was doing 10, when I was living alone. I was doing 10 to 12 on Friday nights, but you know, living with the family, it's really nice to have a little bit of time Friday night to hang out. Levster says, hey everyone, I'm a little late today. Uriel says, is there a preferred 12X motor to test? Not yet. These 1202.5s are sort of the first ones, and I am absolutely blown away by how much power these make. I'm also really impressed by these these old school 2023 propellers. Fly High FPV is in this chat. Fly High made me scream laugh earlier in the day. Hit his Instagram. He's got a reel that's just perfect. I'm actually doing a Fly High order tonight to snag a couple of things. After the stream, I'm getting a set of these. Again, trying to find the right motors for these. He's got these VCI 1103 11,000s, so I'm getting a set of those. I'm curious about this Dogcom 4S 850. This is the size battery that I run for all of the live broadcast stuff. I have a ton of tattoo R lines, which I'm super happy with, but yeah, it's cool to try different batteries of the same size and milliamp. And then yeah, I'm gonna float around the website. I want to see if there's an AIO that would make sense for the either the Caillou build or the Bando Turtle build. And so I want to spend a little bit of time after everybody goes to sleep floating around the site to get an order in. So yeah, I'm excited, man. Fly High is an awesome site. He's a massive supporter of Castle Crash, and now Sloss Drone Derby. So yeah, support the folks that support all the cool events. Although, yeah, most of what's interesting is the smaller resellers tend to be the ones that support the events even more. We Bleed, Fly High, Tiny Whoop, these guys all like really support a lot of these events. I don't tend to see a lot of support at these events from like Pyro Drone or Get FPV or Race Day Quads. I think Newbie Drone is maybe the best of the big four, with like supporting the events and whatnot. But you know, we're a small community. All these resellers give back in their own ways. But I'm always blown away at how much support I see from, to be honest, mainly Fly High and We Bleed. I'm always incredibly impressed by how much stuff that they support. It means a lot, you know. They're in it for the love of FPV and the love of the community, and that's just magic, you know. That's what makes this community that we're all in so cool. The fact that, you know, so many of us are willing to give our time and effort and money and whatever we can, right, to keep this all alive. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Uriel says, if overpowered, you can limit power. Do you get extra fly time? Absolutely. We're going to talk about that. That's one of the cool options, right? Like if you have a build that makes too much power, that's always better than a build that doesn't make enough, because when it makes too much, you can motor limit it down. If it doesn't make enough, you can't motor limit it up. So yeah, these 1202.5s are very impressive. Random Hackman says, yes, if BetaFPV named things properly. Nyafu says, the GemFan 2015s are durable up until they shatter or explode, in my experience. I had a 2-inch toothpick with them a while ago, and they broke at the tip every single time I turtle moded. GemFan 2015. Which one's that? GemFan 2015. 2015? Oh, is that what we were looking? Oh. Right. I've not had that. I haven't had them blowing up at the tips yet. That's interesting. Well, I guess I haven't spent much time with them either, though. I'll keep an eye out for that. Did you find another propeller that was more durable than them? I guess is going to be a the best possible follow-up to that question. Hold on, Patrick's messaging me. Let me make sure there's no emergency. Now he's good. Oh my God, Santana is coming. Santana with Doobie Brothers? What? Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, that'll be cool. Damn. Oh, shit. All right, cool. Cold Front and Penguin says, why would my link quality be 100%, but my RSSI DBM jump from -50 to -90, only about 100 feet or so away, even in open space, to Deep Space Seeker 3.5-inch quad? That's going to depend upon what link it's running. Is it ELRS? Is it Crossfire? If it's Crossfire, what's happening is Crossfire from like no feet away to like 50 feet away will be on 150 hertz. But like if you get 51 feet away or 101 feet or whatever, like it happens really like way too close to you. It switches from 100 hertz to 50 hertz automatically, unless you have that turned off. And that's when you'll see weird shit happening. So yeah, if you're on Crossfire, that's what's going on. You can lock Crossfire to 50 or to 150 to prevent that. If you're on ELRS, so RSSI DBM is mainly there, in my opinion, and from what I've heard and read, to see if your antennas are blown up. If your antennas are not working or broken, RSSI DBM is the best way to see that. If you're just going to be flying, LQ, link quality, and RSNR, signal to noise ratio, those are better judges of the signal strength, the actual strength of the signal between the quad and the transmitter. RSSI DBM it tends to jump all over the place. That's a hell of a jump there. Joshua he used before FPV. He designed Wi-Fi networks, and so he is a much better resource of information for radio stuff than me. And he already has a couple videos on his channel about RSSI DBM, about link quality, about SNR. So do a quick search on his channel, and he's broken it down really, really well in the past a couple of times. Also check his second channel with clips from the live streams, because just recently he actually talked about it. Pac-Man says, I haven't had any hubs explode in 8+ bent props. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's very frustrating that the BetaFPV version of HQ's prop, it seems like, is more durable than the actual HQ one. Sporty says, is there a relatively practical way of balancing props? Nope. The best possible way that I've found, and anybody else has found, because for a long ass time this was something that I was doing, is you get mechanical pencil graphite. You know, the tiny little thin bits of graphite. Graphite is pretty slippery. And you put the prop. I used to do it with solder, and it worked a little bit with solder, but it works way better with graphite. I don't have any graphite floating around, but you with also the graphite, it's perfectly straight. The solder will get a little bit bent up, but you put the prop on. Oh my god. Okay. This apparently this solder is more than 1 millimeter. How do I not have? Here we go. Here's a 1.5 mil propeller. You put the prop on there, and then you just bump it. You just bump the propeller, and you watch what happens very closely. And we bump it again. That's not telling us anything. That's not telling us anything. That's not telling us anything. See how it carried a little bit more there? That means that this side is a little bit heavy. Let's see if it'll do it again. See how it stopped? The fact that it stopped is either that the heaviest part is at the bottom, or it just had too much friction. And so now I'm going to bump it again, and I'm going to look for it to go like this, and then come back farther than it went. Ready? I hit it too hard. It's really hard to do, but what you're looking for is like the amount of force that you put into it. It should like rotate and then like kind of wiggle. If you see it rotate and then really come back the other direction, there's a heavier part of the prop. It's incredibly difficult to do. As soon as you crash the propellers, they're going to come out of balance because the blades are going to bend a little bit, or you're going to chip a piece of the plastic off. It's an absolute nightmare, but you can give it a shot. I don't recommend it. I recommend that you just go with the props that are relatively well balanced out of the bag and just leave it at that. But if you're going to build like some kind of a cinematic rig and there's a propeller that you really want to run, but it's known to be out of balance, like the situation that I just had with these 2.5-inch HQ bi-blades, then yeah, you can give that a shot. Pencil graphite, pencil lead graphite is the best option. Elias says, are there any updates on the G473 and the new BetaFPV? Are they good or even better alternatives than the Happy Model 2G4? Last time you mentioned them, but also said they were new and untested. Here's my broken G473. So not a good sign. And here's my broken BetaFPV V2 Matrix 5-in-1. The G473, hopefully, this is a weird thing to say, but hopefully this broke from the tip of the ELRS antenna shorting out on a component on the board. The AIO is fine, but the ELRS died inside of it. It happened during a live stream, and Frank Dr. Nicholas said, is the tip of the antenna pushed up against anything on the board? By the time I read that, I had already been futzing with it, and it wasn't, but maybe it was. It broke during a hell of a crash, like full throttle all the way across the room upstairs into the wall. A crash hard enough to break one of these Bri-Brain camera mounts that are really durable. And so, yeah, this is a total unknown whether or not that was just a total unlucky thing or if it's not as durable as the 2G4, because I've never had a 2G4 break as quickly as this. This blew up on like the 4th or 5th battery. So total unknown. Happy Model is very kindly sending me a replacement, but it's Chinese New Year, and so it's going to take a while for that to get here. This Matrix 5-in-1 broke when I went to ESC Configurator and tried to update it to 0.21 on their website. They say to use 0.19.2. They sent me a bind and fly with it, and I used 0.9.2, and this thing has been totally fine. I'm probably like 20 or 30 batteries deep into it. Nah, probably 30 or 40, and it's been great. So, yeah. Pretty bad luck, I think, on both of these blowing up. Or maybe not. The next Crazy G473 that comes, I'm going to be absolutely certain to put a little dab of E6000 on the tip of this antenna. I've tried looking at the tip of this antenna with the 5X loop, and like, it doesn't specifically look like these antenna wires are enamel coated, and then they cut them to the right length. And so possibly when they cut it, there's a little bit of the metal that's on the outside of the enamel. I can't really tell. But from now on, you know, when I have these little wire antennas, I'm going to be putting a little dot of E6000 on them, just in case that's what happened. You know, who knows? So yeah, it's still pretty early to tell. They both seem pretty good, but the BetaFPV board has motor plugs. The Crazy G473 does not. There is another version of the BetaFPV board that does not have motor plugs. And so, as much as I hate to say this, if the BetaFPV board, because I've been such a Happy Model fan forever and they've been really good to me, but so has BetaFPV. If this BetaFPV board is good, it proves to be reliable, I think this is the one to go with, because you can get it with plugs or without plugs. The fact that it doesn't have the front mounting point is potentially like really cool and could make it more durable. And I think it's actually a little bit lighter than the Crazy G473. So, yeah. When the replacements get here, we'll see. I don't know. On one hand, when the replacement BetaFPV board gets here, I kind of want to go straight into ESC configurator and try to update it to 0.21 to see if it bricks as well, to kind of confirm that. But at the same time, like, I don't want to brick another one. And so I might just leave it on 0.19 because I want to use it for one of these open prop builds. This Baby Turtle 2-inch, I want to build this as light as possible on 1S, and see how that is. So, I don't know. We'll see. But it's still too early to tell. I will say this. On BetaFPV's website, they have a bunch of info on how they durability tested this new AIO, and it sounds pretty good. Whether or not they actually did any of that, who the hell knows? But I have a feeling that the BetaFPV is going to be good. That's my gut feeling. Random Pac-Man says, yes, bendy blades was the problem with the gem fans. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Kevin Sumner says, yeah, what Fly High FPV said. Everybody go buy something from Black Market FPV. Why is that? Oh my God, Black Market FPV sent Castle Crash over $1,000 in gear. Huge support from the people who are passionate about FPV, not from the corpos. Very cool. Damn, Black Market FPV. What do they have? What do they have that nobody else has? For the record, the shops that are not the four big ones, the four big ones being Gem Fan, Race Day Quads, which are kind of the same place now. I'm sorry, Get FPV and Race Day Quads, which are kind of the same now. Pyrodrone and Newbie Drone. Those are the big four, right? These other shops, these are the shops that have the stuff that you can't find. Like when you're desperate to get that, like, VCI 1103, you're not going to find it on the big four. You're going to find it on these other shops. So get these shops bookmarked. Over on my Discord, actually, in the... Where is it? It is in the Patreon only section. So you're going to have to give me 10 cents a day to get access. But in the Patreon only section, there's a text channel called All FPV Retailers. And in there, we've all just dropped every single FPV reseller from around the world that we know of. And that is how you find the weird stuff. That's how you find the propellers that were discontinued 3 years ago. That's how you find the motor that nobody else has in stock. That's how you find the 04 lights when everybody else is sold out. So, yeah. Always check the websites that are not those big four, because, you know, there are people like us that are doing it for the passion, and I'm not saying that the big four aren't doing it for the passion, but, like, you know, the more shops that we have with stuff, the more variety we're going to get. I'm going to leave a little tab open here with Black Market FPV, because I bet you they have something that I need that nobody else has right now. That's always what happens. Where am I at in chat? Hold on. Okay, here we are. Nyafu says, I can get a set of the RCinPower 1003s for $60. Should I just send a set, even including shipping? It'll be less than 80. I actually have a couple of sets of the RCinPower 1003s. That's super kind of you, but yeah, I'm good. At the moment, what I'm looking for are little motors that have T-mount holes. So now that we're starting to get heavier and more powerful on these builds, we want to start using T-mount screws, because the motor shafts are going to start to break. It's already a problem with, like, these 2-inch builds, but they're just light enough to kind of get away with it. But yeah, I'm starting to look for the slightly heavier motors that have T-mount screws, because that's going to eliminate the problem of the motor shaft breaking up above the hub here, right? When you have your propeller that's only held on by this hub, when you crash and the propeller side loads, it's just going to try to snap this motor shaft right up here. And there's, like, nothing to prevent that from happening, right? When we have T-mount screws into here, now the propeller and the bell are invincible. You're never going to snap the motor shaft up above here. What does start happening at that point is you start bending the motor shaft on the inside. You start bending the motor shaft in here, right at the base of the bell and right at the top of the stator. But that joint in there, that connection point, is tight, right? You've got the propeller solidly mounted to the inside of the bell, and then you've got a razor thin gap to the top of the stator and your bearing or your bushing or whatever. And so it's so much stronger there, right? Because you've got, like, two things. You got the motor shaft down the middle, and you've got, like, the two things right here, and you're trying to break it like that. And it typically doesn't break. It'll just bend a little bit eventually. But you got to really hit it hard to do that. Whereas without using T-mount screws and just dropping a propeller down on a 1.5mm motor shaft, that's a nightmare. We get away with it on whoops because they're in plastic frames, but as soon as we go to a carbon fiber frame where the motor is solidly mounted and there's no bend, there's no give to absorb that energy slowly, it's yeah, that's going to be, you know, as always, right? The shit rolls downhill, and there's always going to be a weak point, and that's the next weak point. This is why we stay away from carbon fiber frames on tiny whoops. You know, the fact that tiny whoops have plastic frames is a miracle, and we should be using these plastic frames because there's some massive benefits to them. It makes no sense to go to carbon fiber on these 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, 1.8, even 2-inch builds. Although there are some benefits with these itty bitty 2-inch builds in, like, speed and, you know, not having the guards. Because, like, you know, I guess you could just cut the guards off of this, but the guard is integral to this frame. Without this outer part of the guard, this plastic frame would be too floppy. But yeah, there you go. Basilia says, any news from BetaFPV on the Blue Jay shenanigans with the Matrix 1S 2 AIO? Right. Yeah, we just talked about that. No, I'm gonna. So yeah, I'm still waiting for. I'm still waiting for the replacement to come. I'm gonna ask them again. Like, can you test that? Like, can you take one? And I asked them once, but it was in the middle of a conversation. And I didn't feel like beating a dead horse. But yeah, I want to ask him again. Like, hey, can you have one of your engineers try to flash 0.21 to confirm if that does brick these things? I'm so like, I have one that works right here. I'm so tempted to just do it because it shouldn't brick it. I really do think that this other AIO that they sent me was just bad, and like that happens, a good amount in FPV. Like, we just take something out of the box and it doesn't work. And I think that was the deal there, but License to Drive is in the house. He says, when I got out of the hospital, shall I see if it's possible to 3D print working 1.8-inch TPU props? Sure. Yeah, man. I hope you feel better, brother. License to Drive is going through it again. So frustrating, man. Uriel says, which motor you like to combine with 04 Lite? I'm still figuring that out, but man, it's starting to feel like 1202 and a halves are going to be a really good option. But yeah, I gotta do a little bit more flying here, a little bit more prop testing. As I fly these things more and test different props, I figure out, the motors and the KV and all that jazz. So I just need a little bit more time there. Mike says, promote your Fiverr more. I gained an insane amount of knowledge that would have taken years to learn and cost way more than what you're charging for your time. Yeah, Mike and I had an awesome Fiverr call today. We did build planning and went off the rails a bunch and just talked about some camera settings and stuff. Super cool guy, super generous. Yeah, flying some mountain biking gigs with 04 Pro on board. And so we talked about some AOS Cine 30 and 35s. March is going to be a fun month because he's going to do a Cine 3.5 as well, and then I'm going to have a bunch of live streams, so we'll get to compare notes back and forth. But yeah, you guys are more than welcome to buy $1 a minute, basically, of my time. $60 for an hour, $40 for a half an hour, a little bit more for a half an hour. You can do it through Fiverr, or you can just message me, right? All my contact info is on CiottiFPV.com. Instagram and Discord are the best ways to get in touch with me. I try my best to put everything in my brain from the last decade into these live streams, but sometimes it's hard to sort through, the 10 plus hours a week that I do. So if you have a whole bunch of specific questions, or look, if you just want to get a couple months of knowledge all at once in a half an hour, that's the way to do it. I love working with you guys. I love actually having the one-on-one call where if I explain something and I don't see your eyes light up, I can explain it in a different way and in a different way until I can kind of literally watch it sink in. And then, you can as we talk about one thing, you can feedback and ask me a question related to that you were thinking about a month ago that you forgot. And so, yeah, if you want to learn a lot fast, go through my Fiverr or just message me and we'll get it scheduled. And I love it. I absolutely love, being in that instructor role. It's something that I fell in love with back in my days of motorsports. I was after I got good at autocross and won a couple Driver of the Year championships in South Jersey, I started to instruct, and then after a couple years, I started to train other instructors. That was really fun too. And yeah, just kind of fell in love with sharing something that I spent a lot of time and effort at getting good at, and watching other people get good at it and improve and whatnot. The whole, if you can't do, teach, right? That saying is just total nonsense. I guess that works for some people, but for me, it's if you can do, teach, right? If you get good at something, teach other people to get good at it. It's incredibly rewarding, right? If you get good at something, you put a whole shitload of time in. That's awesome. It feels great to then help someone not make the mistakes that you did. And you learn a lot too when you do that. When you have to break something down and explain it to someone, you get a better appreciation and understanding of like the nuts and bolts of that thing. So like it literally makes you better to teach stuff. That like I really like with autocross and track days, like I really felt my driving plateau at one point. And then I started working with a couple other instructors and I felt myself get a little bit faster. And then I plateaued again. And then when I started teaching and I started breaking these like really complex things down, it actually made me get even faster because I was looking at it from like, I was taking a step. Now that I was good, I was taking a big step back and looking at those basic things that I hadn't thought about for years and years and years. So yeah, it's another way to like get good at something is to teach somebody else. Thanks again, Mike. Random Pac-Man says, can you add EST to your live stream time text as a new watcher? It took a bit to figure it out. Yes, thank you for that. That's a good call. How do I have this formatted? How can I... Hold on. How's that look? Oh, it goes right off the side of the screen. Hold on. I have this in like a bunch of different scenes, so if I can make this... How can I shorten this up? Nope, I don't have a... How about this? No. Oh, I'll just make it smaller. I don't have it in that many streams. Scenes, rather. So if I grab this and let's kind of like that, and then nope, it's still too big. Why is this running off the side of the OBS? You're being so weird right now. There we go. Thank you for that. All right. I have to do this now. If I don't do this now, I will absolutely forget. All right, these are the two main scenes that I use, so we'll just do it here. Cool. Well, I bet you there's a really slick way of doing that. Kevin Sumner says, yeah, and then we got that. Break Faded says, I thought RSSI DBM was the actual signal strength, and RSSI is scale based. RSSI is scale based. We don't really want to use RSSI anymore. We want to use SNR, signal to noise ratio. In OSD, it's RSNR, and link quality. Those are the two ones that we want to use. That's at least how Joshua explained it. He recommended RSSI DBM. A while ago, before we had the option for signal to noise ratio, he recommends, well, I think he actually recommends all three: link quality, SNR, and RSSI DBM. But again, RSSI DBM is mainly just to see if your antenna is working at all. And to be honest, that's pretty obvious. Like your link quality and your signal to noise ratio will make it pretty obvious if your antenna is broken. Because like, you know, you had half decent range and those two numbers wouldn't take a dump at like 100 feet, and now all of a sudden they are. Something's going on with your antenna. I think the most recent time that it was talked about, signal to noise ratio and link quality, if you're only going to have two, those are the two. So yeah, either have all three or just have the two. For the longest time, I used RSSI and link quality, and it was always very obvious to me when I was getting towards the edge of range. And so those two will absolutely work, but signal to noise ratio is a little bit better than RSSI because it's not on some made up scale that doesn't make a lot of sense. Ant Batch says the SMD antenna broke off of my 2G4 flight controller. Is it possible to wire an ELRS receiver to one of the UARTs? Even easier is to solder on a little piece of tuned wire, which I have shown you all how to do a couple times. So if you go to anyone's channel, there's a little magnifying glass here. You click that and you can search on just this channel. So if I search for replace antenna, Fix Ship Friday, Q&A, fixing a broken ELRS ceramic antenna. This will show you how to do it. And I talk about the length of the antenna that you need. And here's another one, another ELRS ceramic antenna repair. This will also tell you there's 4 pads. It'll tell you how to find the right pad. There you go. Super easy to do. But I think to answer your question, I believe yes, there is a UART on the 2G4. What I don't know is you have to be able to turn off the internal receiver. And I don't know if the 2G4 has a set of jumpers where you can turn off the internal ELRS. So yeah, try to do the antenna first. Way easier, and it'll work great. A little janky piece of wire cut roughly to the right length will actually work better than the ceramic tower antennas. The ceramic tower antennas are junk. Sporny says, maybe I'll look into prop balancing. HQ 45 millimeters just keep exploding on me, and I have lots of the Gem Fan ones. Random Pac-Man says, giveaway time. Yes, thank you. Let me just see if there's any chance that I can get caught up on chat, because I kind of need to in order to do the giveaways. Yeah, I'll be good. Traub says, how are your 2.5-inch builds coming along? Pretty good. There's a video coming out tomorrow with like 25 minutes of flight footage and conversations about this, testing 2 different motors and 4 different propellers. So look out for that. It'll be like a regular edit, which I never do, but it's nice to finally do one. Yafu says, you have the RCinPower in the fund, so I thought you needed some, LOL. I ended up getting a set. I'm gonna update this to something else, probably like a 1202.5. I just got to figure it out what it's gonna be. Thank you again. TC Moore says you should try the Spark Hobby 1103 8500s. I've heard really good things about them. They're cheap and have the T mounting. Yeah, I've heard good things. I just don't know where to get them from. I think you have to get them from AliExpress, and I typically don't do that. I typically order US only. Yeah, does anybody know a source for those Spark Hobby 1103s? McShaky says, I can verify that CiottiFPV private Zoom meeting is totally worth it and a great deal. I have to say, I was worried he would just talk the whole time like YouTube limits him, but nope, he's great to help you. Yeah, I ask a whole bunch of questions to get as much info as I can out of you guys, and then I'll get you headed in the right direction. Because like that's what I can't do here in the in the chat, right? Like I can't ask any one of you enough questions to get the info quick enough through the the YouTube delay and all that jazz. And also it helps to get a feel for kind of like where you're at in your FPV journey. So yeah, Kevin Sumner says, I feel like those who can't do teach saying comes more from the chronic underfunding of the U.S. public school system. Yeah, for sure. So top talent isn't as interested in it. Yeah. So it was Maggie's birthday yesterday, and so I planned a little dinner with her and a whole bunch of her friends. So Maggie teaches at Georgia Gwinnett College down the street. She's got a friend, Michael, who does he teaches one class at GGC. But he would love to teach there full time, but it just doesn't pay enough. Like the top, for like, I almost said proper education. It's not true, but like, higher level education, he actually has to work K through 12, just to make enough money, which is, it's just, the whole situation is just wild. Not that, like, in fairness, K through 12 teaching is more difficult. But yeah, it's our education system is flawed. We need to teachers should be the highest paid people in the country, right? Like, what do we want? Do we want the next generation of human beings to be like really well educated and intelligent, and I don't know, maybe they can figure out a way for us to live on the earth long term instead of continuing to just burn it into the ground? Or what? Just like, not my fucking problem. I'll be dead by then. Fuck y'all, right? Like, come on. Yeah, it's wild. Levster says, Flywoo builds their Firefly 04 wide without a nut at the bottom. Isn't that needed for stability? It wobbles in flight, so I thought I put some nuts at the bottom of the carbon. I would do the same. That's wild that they don't do that. I wonder if they just messed that up on yours. I hope so. Jeremy Flies FPV says, if I strip a canopy board... I just threw up my mouth a little bit. If I strip a canopy... I ate really fast before the live stream. Hold on. Oh, God. Okay. Ooh, boy. Ooh, those lentils don't taste as good now as they did earlier. Jesus Christ. Jeremy says, if I strip a canopy board mounting screw on my 65mm, is that frame toast? Or is the way to temporarily rig it until I get a second frame? Canopy board mounting screw. Are you talking about the little plastic tubes in here? I'm going to assume that you're talking about the plastic tubes. You can go to a bigger screw. I believe they use don't quote me on this, but I believe it's M1.2. So if you have an M1.4, you can try that. What I usually do, though, is I'll go to a longer screw. On a couple of the websites, there are Mobula 7 screws. See if I can find them real quick. Here we go. Nope, that ain't it. There it is. So Race Day Quads is one of the places that has it. It's hard to tell from this picture, but these canopy to frame screws are significantly longer than the normal ones. And so for $250, well, they're sold out. I actually have these for sale on my fucking Etsy store. I forgot about that. Yeah, they're longer because they're designed to use this taller grommet. And so, yeah, on my Etsy store, I ordered a whole bunch. I think the reason that they're sold out is because I ordered like quantity 10 of these a couple years ago. And I think that sold them out and they never went back in stock. But yeah, I've got them on my Etsy store. That's what I do, is just run a longer screw. I've also got, again, on my Etsy store, M1.2 by 10 and M1.2 by 12. Those are really long. Those are even longer than those. And those will drive, so the little plastic tube is molded into a flat piece of plastic. If you send an M1.2 by 10 down that tube, it'll go all the way into the flat piece of plastic, and you can drive it through there. And that is super strong. That's what I'll do on like the super ultra basher tiny whoops that I build. So there you go. That's how you can fix that before the new frame comes. TC Moore says, I got the Spark Hobby from Amazon, but they did still come from China. Ugh, that's a shame. I'm going to look around for those because, yeah, I've heard good things. But Anderson says, you or anyone ever fully brick the ELRS on BetaFPV 1S AIO while updating? First time ever for me. Oh my God, dude. Metal, did you... I did it live on stream. Are you telling me... Let me guess. You got one of the new BetaFPV Matrix AIOs and you tried to flash Blue Jay 0.21, didn't you? And it bricked when you did that. That's exactly what happened to this. They're sending me a replacement, but they're on holiday. Tell me that's what you did, because I'm dying to know. On their website, for the Matrix, they say specifically to flash 0.19, 0.2. And so I think there's some weird thing with 0.21, or this AIO was just bad out of the box. Balls. But Anderson says, no, it was ELRS 4.0, and it's the really old 5 amp ones. I can't help you. Yeah, no, that should have been fine. Hey, I'm almost caught up. Almost caught up. Traub says, I get my Spark Heavy 1103s from AliExpress. Yeah. Hopefully they get them somewhere else. All right, I'm caught up on chat. We're going to do a quick giveaway. $5 a ticket. You can do a super chat, or you can go to CiottiFPV.com and hit the PayPal button. Super chats, 30% gets taken because YouTube and Google need their money. PayPal, nothing gets taken. You're going to get a Broken Prop Crew goggle strap. You're going to get this lanyard. This Broken Prop Crew lanyard. Home of the Whooper Micro King sticker. And a 580 mAh Lava V2 and two 680 mAh Lava V2s. $5, which covers the shipping. Sometimes when I do these, only one person gets in, and I don't want to pay you guys to take this stuff. So, quick giveaway just for funsies. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to start playing some of the flight footage here from the Maxx Frames M2 build. Maxx Frames M2 frame, HGLRC, 1202, 11,000 kV motors, Gem Fan 2023 propellers, the old school ones with the T-mount, all of the TPU, BT 3.0, and CO3 camera. Also for patrons, I've got a CO3 comparison that I put up on the Patreon yesterday. I fired up 4 different CO3 cameras that I've gotten over the last 5 years, and every single one of them looks completely different outside. I've never noticed this inside. The CO3s look great inside the house, but outside they're all over the damn place. And so, yeah, there's a Patreon post with 4 different screenshots, or maybe just the video. I think it's just the video of me plugging in each one of these, so you get to see 4 different CO3s. Yeah, check it out. Pretty interesting stuff. But yeah, this is one of the, so of those 4 CO3 cameras, this was one of the better ones that I put on here. The first 3 batteries I'm about to play here are with a 300 mAh, and then there should be a 450 in there as well. So let me start playing those while anybody that wants to buy a ticket for the giveaway can buy a ticket. Is this it? Or is this when the battery was dead? This is when the battery is dead. Yeah, good. Here we go. All right, here's a properly charged 300 mAh battery. All right, Maxx Frames M2. Look at the power that this thing has. I'm actually going to turn the volume up on this a little bit because I didn't talk over it much actually. I talked over the last one. This is the one. This will have some actual voiceover. All right, Maxx Frames M2 with a not fully charged 450 mAh 2S, HGLRC, 1202.5, 11,000s, Gem Fan 2023s, the old school 2023s that are T-mount. It's getting a little bit dark. CO3 camera. These motors rip. I am blown. I am blown away at how much power these motors make compared to 1003s and 1103s. Makes sense. You know, we talk a lot about how the stator height adds power and the stator width adds cooling, but the stator width adds power as well. This is the 3rd battery I've put through this. The first 2 batteries were 300 mAh, Tiny Whoop BT 3.0s, and it was sagging those batteries pretty good. I'm not really looking at the voltage here, but I'm assuming that this 450 mAh battery is going to sag a lot less. This is gnarly. Michael Julio, welcome to the Gangly Gang. Thank you for jumping onto the Patreon. So there's momentum. So like with the Baby Turtle 2.5 inch I was flying yesterday, doing stuff like that, right? Like generating momentum and doing one of these moves where you turn around, it killed almost all of the momentum. With these 2-inch props, see that? We keep traveling backwards. If you do something like that, you're going to carry the momentum no matter what. But when you change directions, when you pitch forward or back, there's a big burst of thrust from the front or the rear props. And that can easily kill all the momentum. You can see there I don't have a lot left, but it doesn't, I'm not coming to a complete stop. That's a 2-inch prop, a lightweight build on a 2-inch prop versus a lightweight build on a 2.5-inch prop. The 2.5-inch prop is going to get much more runtime, but the 2-inch prop is, in my opinion, going to have more of a 5-inch kind of flight experience. Woo boy! So this battery started at 4.20. We are coming up on 3 minutes here. I've been flying it pretty hard. My guess was that with how lightweight these builds are, that I was going to prefer the 2-inch setups, and it looks like that's kind of what's playing out. But I'm going to keep testing, keep trying. The 2.5-inch build with 04 might be really, really nice. That might be a nice... Not that the 2-inch Baby Turtle that I have with 04 is not great, but having a little bit more runtime and sacrificing a little bit of throw might be totally fine. 3 minutes and 20 from a not fully charged battery. And what a blast to fly. All right, so there you go. That's the third, I think I said, battery that I flew on it. I think I got everybody here. Frank, I got you on here twice. Here. Frank, I got you on here twice. Dylan, I got you in here. Michael Julio got you in here. And then Stephen Corley. Thanks, everybody. Let's spin this. That is an AIO. Levster says you can check the backside of the CO3 cams. The new ones have a little different backside. Thank you for that, dude. You know, I have a couple of CO3s and I've been checking the back and they all look the same. I didn't want to take this apart. This is the new BetaFPV Air V2. I didn't want to pull this apart. I just kind of assumed that if the 3 other ones that I had, the backs looked all the same, that none of them would look different. So I guess on the brand new CO3s, the back of it does look a little bit different. Thank God. Not that, here's the thing though, not that you're going to be able to tell that when you go on a website and order the damn thing. So it still unfortunately doesn't matter, right? Like we're lucky if the websites have a picture of any of the products, right? Nowadays we just get 3D renders. It's maddening. So it's still like, you know, if you already have a couple of CO3s, just plug them all in and go outside, point them at the sun, and you'll know quick which ones are a mess. The ones that are really bad outside, though, they're going to be better inside. And so, like, that's really that's what it is. There are CO3s that look identical, and some of them are good at better indoors, some of them are better outdoors. The brand new one, the absolutely brand new one, is better outdoors. It's fine indoors as well, but it's the best that I've seen outdoors. Here's what I'm talking about. So like that's the brand new one. That's one of the older ones. That's one of the older ones. And I guess that's one of the middle ones. But like look at the difference. That's ridiculous. Like this is borderline unflyable outside, but this is going to be great inside. Versus the brand new one, which kind of looks muddy and awful outside, but, you know, is going to be great inside. So, yeah, there you go. Thank you to everybody that entered the giveaway. Let's blow some tickets away, and one ticket shall remain, and that person gets a couple of batteries and some other fun stuff. The goat hath screamed. The tickets be blown away. Frank Nicholas is by motor number 2. He's sticking in there. He's gone. Dylan Morgan has won. Congratulations, brother. Maybe there's another ticket under the quad, though. Hold on. Uh-oh. Maybe it broke. No, there you go. Dylan Morgan, congrats. You have won. Dylan, if you are a patron, you're good, because Patreon forces you guys to put your address in there. So if you're a patron, I have your info over there. If you're not a patron, you got to get in touch with me, because I don't know where to mail this. Discord, Instagram, CiottiFPV.com has all my contact info. Shoot me a message. Say, yo, it's Dylan Morgan. I won the thing in the place. Here's my address, and I'll ship this out to you. DYLAN MORGAN. Congrats, brother. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and you get a Propodial as well, because every single thing I ship out gets a Propodial thrown into it. All the Etsy orders, all the giveaway wins, all the good stuff. Thanks, everybody, for playing, supporting your gangly buddy. Let's keep going. Let's watch a couple more. So that was like the third battery. Here's the first battery. Here's sort of like first impressions. Although I'm not really talking through this, because Maggie and Florence were doing yard work right next to me, and I always feel weird talking to myself, or I mean really talking to you guys, while other people are around. It's a problem. I need to figure out a way to get over that. It just feels horrible. Okay, so it's not this one. It's going to be this one. Here you go. So yeah, here's the absolute first battery
charged battery
on the Maxx M2.
Maxx Frames M2.
Pretty wild maiden. This is literally maiden. This is the absolute first time that I flew it. Took a guess on the PID tune, moved the D-gain slider up to 1.3. Did the thing I normally do with the filters, like pretty backed off. Just good to go. I moved the pitch axis sliders up to 1.1 like I always do, and just shreds, absolutely shreds right out of the box. Super impressive, man. Max is dead on the money about these motors. These HGLRC 1202.5s are very well balanced, big power, but just there. Here's the problem with these motors and with this setup. I missed it. Here's the issue. That's a lot of amps. And I think I saw up in the 20s. And here's the issue, right? We are 31 seconds into this battery, and it's already getting sagged all the way down to 3.46 volts. I love having motors that make good power, don't get me wrong.
Nice.
But this is a 2-inch build. This is a build that's going to be really well suited for smaller flying. I'm actually flying this pretty big right now, right? Like, I'm going really high up. I'm throwing it over these big-ass trees. I'm not putting this into the little garden. I'm not putting this, like, you know, into, like, the little valley. I'm flying it down the middle of the damn street like I would do with, like, a big boy 3-inch rig. And so we got to be a little bit sort of mindful of this. Like, you can, I mean, look, no wrong answers, right? This is me adjusting the strap on the goggles. No wrong answers. Like, if you want to take a 2-inch rig and fly it gigantic like this, like, and that's fun to you, it's all good. But what I can tell you is that a lot of times, if you want to fly bigger like this, if you want to go charging down the street at 40, 50, 60 miles an hour, doing that with a 3-inch build is going to make more sense. It's going to be more durable. It's going to have more weight for the off-throttle throw kind of stuff. But again, if there's something about a really powerful 2-inch setup that you love the way that that feels, like that's all that matters. For me, I'm trying to get these things to fly as close as possible to the way that a 5-inch rig flies, and a really powerful 2-inch build is not necessarily going to have that. It's going to have too much power for the size of the spot that I want to fly it in, which is a small spot. A 2-inch build, I want to fly that smaller. I want to be doing like half pipes between the trees in the front yard. I don't necessarily want to be hammering it down the street, you know, trying to throw it over like 3 of these trees. I want to try to throw it over 1 tree. And so that's where that's kind of where my head is at here. Right now, I've only flown 3 batteries on a really powerful 2-inch build, and so it's a little bit too early to kind of tell, but this was great. I'm so happy that I got to fly this with this really powerful setup, because it made me realize that the 1003s, 1002s, 1102s, 1103s are not like mega powerful. These 1202.5 11,000s, this is like a mega powerful motor for this. And so now, you know, I've been flying stuff that I think is sort of in the middle. The RCX 1103s are so old that they don't have much power, so those are on the lower side. And now I've flown something that's up here on the really powerful side.
Oh my god, is this battery dead already?
And one of the ways you can tell that is that if
hard.
30 seconds into a battery, you're getting low battery warnings, there's 2 things going on. Either that build has too much power, or the battery is blown. Well, there's 3 things. The battery could be old and tired, or you're just running a battery that's too small. And that might be the case here. When I put this thing onto a 450 mAh battery, that problem kind of went away. I kind of feel like, though, a 450 mAh battery is maybe a little bit too big for a 2-inch setup. For the 2.5-inch builds, for sure. Absolutely, the 450 is the right choice. But I feel like the 300 is the right battery for this, so maybe this is... yeah, maybe this is a little overpowered right now. I'm looking forward to flying it some more tomorrow and the next day and the next day to really kind of dial in on that. But that's the kind of thing that, you know, this is how you really dial a build in for like wherever you want to fly it for your particular flight style. And to be honest, this is the hard part, right? Like, you can just slap a build together with a setup that you found on the internet, and like it's probably going to be pretty good. But this is the part where, and you know, that's basically a bind and fly, right? Like you're basically like, sure, you're custom building it, but like you're not developing the formula. You're not trying different motors, trying different props, and dialing in perfectly for you and your space and your taste and whatever you're doing with the flight footage, right? There's a lot of different
what are you up to?
Things that kind of go into that.
Working?
And that's what makes a good rig great, right? Is going through that process of like dialing it in for your exact scenario. And I'm right in the middle of that right now. You know, this was such a cool few batteries that I flew, kind of opening my... I didn't realize that these motors... I knew these motors would make a little bit more power because they're just bigger. Like, they just are a bigger motor. I had no idea it would be like this. The first time I went full throttle, I was like, okay. Like, this thing is a monster. The other thing to think about with these lightweight rigs is the lack of durability in the motors. So,
Baby Turtle 2.
So we've now watched all the batteries that I flew today. All of these micro motors have 1.5 millimeter motor shafts. It is 1.5 millimeters in diameter all the way through, out the top, and then all the way down the bottom. The 0702 and 0802 Tiny Whoop motors, annoyingly, are 1.5 millimeters in diameter down here through the stator, and then right here, you can actually see it. It reduces down from 1.5 to 1 millimeter. Absolutely maddening. But it looks like there's some, we already have some solutions for a 1.5 millimeter motor shaft up on top here from Weebleed. And there are some good props coming. So before long, we'll have 702s. We already have 802s. And some matching good propellers to fix that so that our Tiny Whoops have the 1.5 millimeter motor shaft. But, like, think about that, right? Like, Tiny Whoops, a 1.2 inch propeller, 30 gram all up weight Tiny Whoop. We're about to have a 1.5 millimeter motor shaft on that. All the way up to 250 grams on 3 inch props. We also have 1.5 millimeter motor shafts. And so, as you can guess, it's not enough. It's not strong enough. And so, on these 2 inch builds, I love the idea of keeping the weight down as low as possible because that's going to make the motors more durable. But here's the thing. T-mount versus not T-mount, like we talked about earlier. The RCinPower 1003s, for example, don't have screw holes for T-mount props. You just put the propeller on, and it relies on only the 1.5 millimeter motor shaft for strength. And that's not very strong. So, like, if you're going to run a motor like that, you've got to be as lightweight as you possibly can. We gain a significant amount of durability by going to a motor that has T-mount screws. Because the T-mount screws, like I talked about at the beginning of the stream, the T-mount screws jack that propeller into the bell. And you're not going to bend that. But you can still bend the motor shaft between the bell and the stator. It's way harder to do that because the motor shaft is welded to the bell and then it goes down inside the bearings of the stator. So you've just got this little sliver in between the two. And so when you side load it in a crash, it's going to try to bend it in that itty bitty little space. And that's a lot harder versus like if there's just a propeller on here, it's pretty easy for that prop to just break or bend the motor shaft up here, right? And so in theory, if you keep a 2 inch build really lightweight and you don't make a lot of power with it, because when you make a lot of power with it, now you've got to go to a bigger, heavier battery, and now it crashes a lot harder. So if you keep a 2 inch build on an itty bitty battery, right? 2S300 or 1S450 or 550, right? You use little motors, 1002, 1003, 1102, 1103. In theory, you can still have something that's relatively durable using the propellers like the GemFan 2023S's. This is the other part of the puzzle, right? There are propellers that don't have the T-mount holes, and then there are propellers that do have the T-mount holes. So we have a couple layers of sort of durability here. I absolutely love that on this 2 inch build, we've got motors that have the T-mount screws. And so this particular setup with these more durable motors and props might be totally fine on a 2S450 mAh battery. Max told me he actually prefers the 450 mAh batteries on this. I totally see why, right? Like, these motors make big power. And when I flew this with the 450 mAh battery, it was really fun because it was even heavier and it had a lot of carry. And so what I have a feeling, what's cool about this setup, right? Like, I bought this frame and then Max sent me this AIO and these motors. So like, this is staying together as it sits like this. And so I absolutely love that. I love that I have a heavy 2 inch setup as, like, you know, this is kind of over here, little props, but a good amount of weight. And then I've also got like this thing here, analog, lightweight, big ass 2.5-inch props, this is all the way over here. Having those extremes really helps me figure out like what motors are going to be the best bet, what props, what I like, what works the best in this size space versus this size space. So this is pretty slick. This is really, I'm so blown away at how, even when this had that big battery, how competent it was. Basically what's going on is these motor and prop combo makes so much power that, like, even though it's a little tiny parachute, but with a lot of weight with that 450, even though if I'm just hovering and I chop the throttle, it falls pretty quick because it's heavy and it's small. It's got so much power. You usually don't do that. Usually you do a throttle blip before you chop the throttle. And so when you do a throttle blip with this, it fucking, like, it gets a bunch of upwards momentum. And so it masks the fact that it's a little parachute with a lot of weight. Yeah, Maxx MAXX_frames on Instagram, or just if you just search Instagram for MAXX space frames, you'll find it. Yeah, this was very, very, very fun today, and totally opened my eyes to how much power these 1202.5s can make. So really cool stuff. Lots more motor testing coming. This setup is awesome. If I were to put digital setup in here, the amount of power that this has would be like, and this is another cool thing about having a motor that's too powerful. If you decide that you're going to go from analog to digital, you don't have to do anything. This has more than enough power. This could easily move a 04 light, even probably with a the big ass Flywoo wide angle camera on it. Although I don't think this frame is set up in a way to take that camera, but that's okay. That's where the Kayoumini is really, really nice. There's a 3D print file for the Kayoumini that works with that new Flywoo wide angle 04 light lens. So yeah, this is rad. I can't wait to fly this some more. Also, I've put some crashes into this and it's holding up really well. There's no weird resonance. I don't have the PIDs cranked yet, but I kind of don't need to. The motors are so powerful that the response time is great. And when you have a mechanical system, when you have a motor and a propeller that are really powerful, the response time is really good. You don't need to push your PIDs up. You can run default PIDs and it's going to fly really good because you've PID tuned with the mechanical system. This is what Bob Ruge is kind of famous for of FPV Cycle. He hates PID tuning. He refused to PID tune. And so he spent all of his time and effort finding and making motors that would have a phenomenal response time so that the stock PIDs would run really well. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with never PID tuning. It's typically a little bit more expensive and time consuming because you got to buy stuff and test it and buy something else and test it. In his case, it was make stuff, right? Which is cool because then he could sell it on his website. But yeah, there you go. That's why this thing flew so good right out of the box, because with no PID tuning, no filter tuning, other than like the first pass that I usually do, because this motor and prop combo is incredibly powerful and has very snappy response time. I am going to test one more prop. Again, these are the GemFan 2023s, the old school ones. I am also going to test this on the Emax Avan Blurs. This is a heavier prop. I don't know if it's pitchier, but it is certainly heavier and more durable. I have a feeling that these props are going to be plenty durable, and these are probably the propellers that I'm going to go with, but this is a great prop as well, so I'll test it on these. We'll see what's what. But these two props are really good options if you're going to do a similar build to this, and you're going to have a bigger motor with T-mount screws. Matthew Wegner with a $20 super chat. Dude, thank you. Super generous. He says, no worries on the giveaway. I just got in from flying my 6 batteries, stuffing this here, 20 into the jar anyway. Well, let's do this then. Let's do this. This fund is going to get switched to something else. But thank you, dude. You just You just got it started. So that 20 will go to whatever we switch this, because I ended up with a set of these RCinPower 1003 10,000s. They're really good. As you guys will see tomorrow, there's an actual edit coming to the channel here tomorrow. I'm going to set it to automatically go up, of me starting to get the 2.5-inch setups going. These 2-inch setups I've been screwing around with for the last couple of months, so I'm pretty dialed in already. 2.5 inches, a little bit different. So yeah, there's an edit coming, me testing 2 different motors. RCinPower 1003 10,000s are one of them. These 1103 7800s are the other ones. And 4 different propellers. HQ biblades, Gemfan 2540s, the Emax Avan 2.5s, the Rush props, I believe they're called, and one more propeller. What the hell is the other prop? I forget. You'll have to tune in tomorrow to check it out. So, yeah. Let me get caught up on chat, and then we will all go enjoy the rest of our Friday night. Stephen Corley with a $10 super chat. I think maybe that went into the giveaway. It did. I know I'm behind on chat. Let's get caught up here. Fly High says, do you think Caddx is making the new BetaFPV ArtLynk system? Wouldn't surprise me. They make a CO3 camera, right? They make the CO3 camera, right? Oh, I don't know. Does Caddx make the CO3? I have not heard that before. It wouldn't surprise me because Caddx makes good stuff, and the CO3 is like the best of the micro cameras. Not even micro, pico cameras, I guess we can call them. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Caddx is behind most of the ArtLynk stuff. But yeah, I don't know. The ArtLynk stuff is really, really cool. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a real nightmare, because I think that every single one of these manufacturers is going to have their own ArtLynk system with their own goddamn goggles. And like, we're going to have to play this really stupid game where we watch like all of the poor reviewers that have to review all of them to figure out which one's good and which one's bad. I will not be a part of that. None of these companies send me stuff that's that expensive, and I certainly can't afford to, pay $200-300 for 6 different sets of goggles, right? But yeah, Madstech and Joshua will will fall on that sword, and a couple other guys, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't know. The ArtLynk stuff is really cool. I think it's way too early to jump on board with any of it. But at some point, somebody will make the best of the ArtLynk setups, and it'll be cheap, and it'll be awesome. Hopefully their goggles are good, right? Like, it's going to be a nightmare, because like, as soon as one of these guys figures out how to get really good range and really low latency, I guarantee you they're going to have the most uncomfortable shitbag goggles. And then whoever else has the best, most comfortable goggles with great runtime, great battery life or whatever, their shit's going to have latency and stutters and fall out of the sky, right? So like, I don't know, man. I hope that that Caddx Walksnail comes out with, and I have a feeling this is what'll happen. They'll come out with their ArtLynk system that has, my these goggles here. I forget what these goggles are called, but like these old school Walksnail goggles, right? Like the first gen Walksnail goggles. These are some of my favorite, maybe even my favorite FPV goggles of all time. They're light. They're just like Fat Sharks. I mean, they're a little bit long here, but they're not really heavy. They're comfortable. They're small. They don't look that nerdy. And so if they come out with a set of ArtLynk goggles like these, and then they figure out the latency and the stuttering and all that other nonsense, yeah, man, that would be super cool. $35 camera and VTX setup. Hell, I'd pay $40. That'd be really cool. Levster says you can check the backside of the CO. Oh, we talked about that. Jimmy the Cow says moo. I wanted to fly today. I haven't flown in a while. I'm gonna fly. I haven't flown on a live stream in like an entire week. The best goggles of all time, though, obviously, are old school Fat Sharks. They're just so goddamn comfortable and light, and like the least nerdy looking. And they just work. They have the shittiest DVR on earth, but, you know, whatever. Gives you an excuse to just fly for you, which is a good thing. B Mondin, I haven't seen you in a while, man. Hope you've been doing well. I'm thinking about getting Flywoo Flylens85 with 04 Pro for some actual jobs. Thoughts? If not, only to get the 04. I'm really hesitant to do a bind and fly for any like actual professional work. I think that for me to trust the gear, I have to have been the one that builds it. Maybe that's just me being a crotchety 44-year-old bastard, but you know, I'm fine with that. So yeah, that being said, a similar build to that, the only problem I think you're going to have is wind. Something that's that lightweight is going to get pushed pretty good by the wind. And so, yeah, that's the only thing I can really think of. If you were to do like a custom build, and get everything neat and tidy and perfect, with something similar, you'd have something really safe, really quiet. That's a similar setup to what a lot of these guys are flying at the live broadcast, concerts. So something where you're going slow, that kind of stuff, that would be good for that. And Yafu says, waiting on the stream to... YouTube just did the thing. Hold on. Where the hell was I? Waiting for the stream to end so I can make brunch has me feeling like I'm suffering from success. I have to make lunch next time so I can enjoy the next stream on Earth. Thanks. Levster says, have a great weekend, gang. Sporny says, they fear you. Nephew says, we need one goggle to rule them all. Indeed, we do. Ant Batch says, I have Tiny Whoop 1202.5, 11,000 kV motors from the Fractal Wingman. But why do they say the motors are for 1S only? I don't know. But 11,500 kV motors should be able to take 2S or 3S. Usually when they if the motor is manufactured with any kind of decent quality control, it should be absolutely fine on 2S. I don't know those motors, so I can't speak to that. But yeah, these are Fat Shark HD3s. I bought these brand new when right before the HDOs came out. Literally, like, these goggles arrived the day that the HDO goggles were announced. But I bought them new. This was a big thing for me when I bought these goggles. It was what I treated myself to when I finally got a job. When I first got into FPV, I was unemployed for the first like year and a half when I was living in Charleston. Really, really rough time in my life, if I'm honest. And eventually when I got a job, I treated myself to a set of brand new HD3 goggles. And I had the newest, most fancy, fucking coolest goggles for about 2 hours at work before Facebook exploded with brand new Fat Shark goggles. Oh my god, OLED screens. This is going to be the most amazing thing on earth. Anybody that just bought HD3s is a complete moron. The joke's on them, though. I like the LCDs in these over the OLEDs. I find the OLED screens to be, on the Fat Shark OLED screens, I find them to be, have too much contrast. That's what I tell myself to keep from crying. What's funny, though, is that Patrick has HDOs, and we were out flying Stables here in Atlanta one day, a pretty famous spot that you old OG folks will know. And I forget why, but we put each other's goggles on, and he goes, "Why do your goggles look so much better than mine?" And we like switched back and forth a couple times, and we were both like, yeah, the HD3s are better. Like, obviously they don't have as much contrast, but like for some reason they're better. So yeah, see, I swear to God, I'm not making that up. I'm actually not, but all right, let's fly a couple of batteries. Just a couple. Fly your 6 batteries today, friends, you bastards. Flycadelic with a $5 super chat. He says, thanks for no ads during the live stream. It is my pleasure. Fly your 6 batteries today and every day, people. You will be a significantly better pilot. I promise you. It's the only way to get better. Ah, I gotta unplug the VRX. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Should be coming up in a second. Yeah, you guys have been hammering me with questions over the last week, so we haven't had any time to fly. It's a good problem to have. I appreciate it. Let's go! Woo! This is the ultimate freestyle whoop with the VCI motors. The purple VCIs. Oof. Feels good. I haven't tiny whooped in a little bit. Oh! Oh! No, no, no. Don't! No! Just right away. Right away it betrays me. And falls down behind the fucking shelf. The claw! The claw! Oh! You have been chosen! The claw has chosen! You guys know what that's from? If you don't know what that's from, get the hell out of here. It's one of my favorite movies. Mega Power Loop! Whoo, boy. These VCI motors have the jam. Oh, rejection by the newbie join gate. Let's try again. Oh, God. Oh. What in the world? How is this possible? How did that work? I turned off air mode and everything. That was about as weird as it gets. Let's try one more time. Oh, that's what we were going for. Oh. Ah. All right, here's the new power loop. Oh, I left the light on in there. That's weird. I never leave the light on in there. Here's the new power loop. Hey, I gotta slow down a little bit for that. Let's get it. New power loop. It's the bar cart power loop. It's tough because it's right next to the wall. Here we go. You bastard. How dare you deny me? I changed the bar cart around, actually. Oh, there it is! God damn it! Second try, sort of. Ooh! I missed the cube on the ground. Let's try it again. Bar cart loop. Ooh! Ugly ass correction there, but we made it happen. Let's do another one quick. Here we go. Yeah, Jimmy the Cow's got it. I don't know what, like, the Toy Story movies, like, to me, it's just the most whimsical, like, amazing thing. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if when you were a kid, when you weren't looking, your toys were actually, like, running around and shit? How great would that have been, you know? I want to live in a world where that's real. I want to be reincarnated as, like, a being that's dumb enough to see Toy Story and think that it's real. You know what I mean? How amazing would that be? Oh, God! Oh, God! Sons of bitches. I won't be able to get it out of there. Shame, 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 shame. Here we go. Yeah, I changed the bar cart all up. I put a bunch of the shit down the bottom here. And then I made like a cool little thing on top. Just like a little, I don't know, stuff. Oh, hold on. God! No, no, no! I didn't need to disarm. Yeah, so these VCI, what are these, 30,000s? I think these are 30,000s. They're the high KV ones. They're the purple lights with the bushings. They make loads of power. When a motor makes a lot of power, though, it becomes a little bit more difficult to do this kind of stuff, like the really technical, tight kind of flying. So that's the trade-off there. But I like them a lot. They're really good. Hey, we got in it. I haven't done that in a while. Oh, yeah! Oh, the recovery of all the recoveries. No. Let's try the full desk power loop. Oh, God! That hit hard right in front of me. Jesus. One more. We could just do one more. Just one more. Fly 7 batteries today. I'm never going to be able to listen to the Tim Gunn theme again. Oh my God. It's as if I hit the couch on purpose. Ew! Oh. No, get out of there. Come on. Oh, I just caught the bottom. Stop it. Let me go. Let me go. We got it. Aye. Oh, I got it on that one. I love those little pop-ups. Ah! But they're so tempting because like I just want to leave it hang for longer and longer and longer. It's worth it. It's always worth it. Stop it. Let me fly. Yes. Oh man, I'm having zero luck with the Mega Matty. Oh. Oh. Okay. Oh! Hold on. I gotta get it. There it was. Nope. Aye. Hey! Oh! Oh! Doing those really low to the ground like that is so goddamn difficult, but holy hell, when you get it, it is so satisfying. It's a much better idea to do those matties up here so that you have enough room for the exit, because the exit is the hard part. One more, just one more, come on. I love when it flips around like that and points at me. One more, just one more. Jimmy the Cow wants a railgun. All right, let's do it. Matthew Wegner says, need a shame bell. Get this man some LSD. Too late. Yeah, these powerful motors make me fly really fast, too. It's like crack cocaine flying. Last one. Oh no! I caught it. Alright, railgun coming up. Let's do the mirror flip first, though. Oh, a solid mirror flip. Here we go. We're going to rail it up. Oh, almost. Try again. There it was. Oh, a good one. Oh. Oh, nope. That was a sloppy railgun. Gotta be really crisp with the railgun. Ah! Come on now. Let's get a good one. Ah! Ah! Ooh, a little bop. Oh, wait. No, I haven't hit this yet. Hold on. Gotta get one of these. Ooh! Oh! Mega power loop! Oh, crash recovery, hooking a brother up on that one. Oh god, no! Uh-oh. Oh, yes! Oh, I wanted to work on that crazy wall ride behind the... Really? Behind the TV. Oh, that looked really good. But I couldn't get it out of there. Let's try it again. Oh, no. We got one more. One more in this battery. Nope. Nope, the battery is just hurting. One more. Just one more. Real quick. Just super quick, like. Just smash the battery in. There we go. Come on. Ooh! Hit the back of the TV hard on that one. Oh, there, we're getting there. I just got to figure the timing out. Oh, no. No, so you go. Whoop. Hit the lamp. Ooh, no. Space drum got me. Here we go. No, I put a bunch of yaw in there. That was weird. What the hell was that about? Ah, I got on the throttle a little too early. Oh, that box was invisible. Like I knew it was there, but I don't know. I just assumed I would see it. Oh! So that's the hard part with this is this lamp is like right in the danger zone. I'm trying to go straight. Oh, for Christ's sakes. Watch, this is gonna be unrecoverable. Yep. No, you bastard. Oh. So I'm trying to go like perfectly straight and then just blast the throttle to get through there. But the lamp is like perfectly in the way. So I guess I need... What do I need? I need a less sharp throttle blip to round it out. So instead of like one big hit of throttle, it needs to be... I need to get on the throttle earlier to avoid the lamp. Like that. Okay. All I have to do is speak it into existence, apparently. Oh! Yeah, that's exactly it. I just kind of fly it out of there, basically. But on its side. Simbrig's trying to eat me. Oh, God, that was a piss-poor attempt. Battery's getting a little saggy. Oh, God, no! Don't kill. Oh. Just one more, real quick. Just one more. Just one more. This is the Cockroach 65 V3 frame. They're just mega. All right, last one. 6 batteries. There it is. You got it. Come on. Powerful motors make me fly like this. They make me fly like there's some contest. How quickly can we discharge the battery and how fast can we hammer around the room? I actually really I prefer to fly slower than this because, like, when I fly this fast, this room becomes kind of small. But, like, whatever. Ooh! I saw the lamp coming and I thought maybe... Oh! I thought maybe... Oh, no. Yay! There's so many wires back there. Yeah, see, that's what I don't want. I don't want to get all high. I want to try to keep it here between, like, right above the speakers, right above these paradigm towers. I want to go in right like that and then out right like that. That'll look the coolest. Ooh! Ooh! My God, things happen so fast flying these little bastards. There it was! Ah! I got in there just... Uh-oh. I got in there just right. Couldn't get out, though. Come on. A couple more tries. Ooh! Oh! There's a face first into the lamp on that one. Wait a second. Where's our guy? Where's our guy? What's he doing? Where is he? Where's the baddest? What? Oh, he better not be in here. He better not be pissing on my side of the bed, that little jerk. Oh, there he is. You get out of there, Teddy. You're not allowed in this room. I caught you. I caught him. Look, Maggie's kicking him out. Look, she's kicking me out. Oh! She kicked him out. Yeah! You're not allowed in there, bad boy. Chase it, buddy. Come on. Chase it. Chase it! He used to chase it. Oh, God! Yeah. Tedwardo, you were boring tonight. Oh, no. There it is, friends. That's not so hard. Fly 6 batteries. Do it every day. You'll be strangling and mangling before you know it. 6 a day, and you'll be a noticeably better pilot in a month. I guarantee it. Cool? Oh, I need to charge this battery. It was starting to beep. This morning says, flying hot tonight. Thank you, dude. Matthew Wagner says, it's good to see you enjoying a few batteries like this. Indeed. It's nice to take a little break sometimes. Cole says, wall ride behind the TV. You should cue off the lamp. Try to get close. Take a smooth curve to get close to the lamp. Focus on the gap going in and the exit where the lamp are. It's happening so quick. It's like with a lot of these bigger moves, it's all in the setup. Like if I get it set up just right, I'm fine, because like once I get into these, it's like there's no like, it's hard to actually fly it in there. You're kind of relying on timing, especially with like the powerful motors where it's just booking across the room. It becomes about timing, and that's why like you'll see me do it a couple times, and like third or fourth time I'll get like way better, because I'm just figuring out like, you know, blip blip, or like blip blip, or you know, there's like those eighths or sixteenths of a second in between each throttle blip that makes all the difference between like banging into the lamp and getting it a little bit early so you skirt off of it. So when he says, what build is this again? This is old school Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop. Cockroach V3 frame for the nice tall ducts to keep it a little bit slowed down at least. VCI motors, which I'm just trying to get used to so that when I go back to the Happy Model motors, I can kind of make a comparison. But they're fine. Big power. A little bit more power than I think I want. HQ 1.2 by 0.9 by 3 propellers. Bri-Brain 15 degree up tilt mount. And then I guess this is a B-Brain BI camera. Little tiny lightweight antenna. I think it's 17 point something grams. Cole says, as long as you are home behind the TV, getting close to the lamp means you won't hit the TV. That's true. Ignore the word home was a typo. 17 17.8 grams. So not like super lightweight, but also not heavy. The BI camera is okay. It's a little wide. The Brain mount is really nice. 15 degrees up tilt, pretty durable. Not a crazy setup. Oh, 2G4 AIO, of course, for, you know, ultimate durability and nice, clean electrical signal. Thanks for hanging, friends. CiottiFPV.com to support me. Join my Patreon. That's the best thing that you can possibly do, and it's how you get in with the coolest community
In the world. In the world.
Later, friends. Here's some more Maxx Frames M2 flying. I think that's this last battery, right? Nope, it's this one.
0.5.
Oh! Jesus.
All right, Maxx Frames M2
There we go.
with 23s, the old
see you
school
Sunday, friends.
2023s that are.
Yeah. Out in the yard where the grass grows wild, CiottiFPV's goggles locked, grinning like a child. Teddy Spaghetti's fur flies and jet wash dreams, yeah. Chasing small whoops like a dog possessed fiend. Eyes on a neon blur, hard in the chase. Big fuzz and prop spin all tangled in place, yeah. Four-legged rebel with a rotor stir tail in the circus of the sky. They never fail. CiottiFPV, Teddy Spaghetti, dynamic duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed. They zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a toothy smile. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shotties on sticks, Teddy's on paws. Side by side legends breaking all the laws. Through the kitchen over couch scale terrain. Backyard mayhem in their flight domain. No ground too sacred, no loop too tight. Fuzz, fuel, fury ignites the night. When pilot and pup lock eyes on the prize, every whoop they conquer is a fresh cut surprise. Yeah, yo, Shotty behind the sticks, Teddy's leading the pack. Prop guard missiles unleashed, never looking back. No leash, no map, just freestyle mic. They on the dog drone streets every day and night. Said whoops, hitting low, gotta nail the dive. Teddy push throttle up, feel the beast come alive. I see the neon arc, got the sticks locked in, Teddy. Yeah, let's rip this loop, ride the roar of the wind, Teddy. Yep, yeah. CiottiFPV, Teddy Spaghetti, diamond at duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed. Zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a toothy smile. Teddy Spaghetti, and duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed things, zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a toothy smile. Yeah, when you hear that bar cut the rotor hum, you know Ciotti and Teddy's mission's just begun. FPV's fur-faced legends, legends sing it loud. Yeah, Teddy Spaghetti and CiottiFPV all